to show my face. I apologize, but too much is going on. For those of you that have not been following my story, it is the most unbelievable story. If I didn't know, that it's true, I would think I'm crazy. I would think a lot of you are crazy. We are what you call truly targeted individuals. We are righteous warriors who have been illegally targeted too much. We have been retaliated against. We have been red flagged. We have been blacklisted. We can't expose our evidence on social media or it goes missing or deleted. You try to call police and your records get deleted. Many police reports I've made have vanished. Crimes can be committed with witnesses. Crimes can be committed on tape where I catch it live or a public facility catches it live or a hotel. And there is no way you can get any justice when you're trapped in what I call organized crime and corruption. Let's recap. How long did I do radio? For years. How long did I expose CPS, fraud and corruption, and Senator Nancy Schaefer's words, who I spoke once? I'm telling you, the ones who don't get it are the ones that are crazy, because there are too many of us that have shown our evidence live, not hearsay, live, and still society sits back while innocent families are destroyed, much like Nazism, much like those days where you have to wonder how so many people were destroyed and people just watched. And it's going on in America today, right in your faces. What happened to me yesterday was a disgrace. Not only did I get something like 250 comments on what I proved, but nobody truly offered help. Not really. So there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to escape because the corruption is worldwide. So then what do? Everyone's going to run scared, or they get together and we rebel? We start a revolution. Hey, I'm in, because I'm not going to live in a world where women can be stalked, followed, harassed by men who are threatening to harm them, to destroy them. And this is horrific. I've been up all night. I'm sick. How many times have they gotten away with crimes and I've ended up deathly ill or in the hospital? Several times close call with a heart attack. They're not going to win. I have my new army of warriors that have been watching my evidence and videos, that are seeing how Facebook is controlling everything I'm doing. Everything. They hack in everything I do. They stop me from telling the truth. And this is truly social media control. And it's really population control, because they don't want the ones who understand what's going on to live. They'll do everything. My once very, very successful, high-end life, living the dream was all taken from me because I knew too much, because I went against corruption, because I went against the rich and powerful bad guys. And I'll tell you what, not only did they take my daughter on a setup that I haven't seen in almost 9 years, okay? I have not seen her once. And she was given to the very person that the criminal report was made against. This is America for you. I didn't get in criminal court. I was forced, which is a violation of my rights, into family court, where the judge would say, well, that's not part of the family case. You can't be providing that evidence to the courtroom. Give me a break. Excuse me, you're taking my child on false claims that I hallucinated a crime, and I, by God, have the right to prove it's true. Well, the police reports all went vanishing. My lawyer, who worked on the case, she did everything to go to the police. Even the judge, in my opinion, threatened her. He made some remark like, you won't ever be a lawyer again, or something like that if you ever pull that stunt again. What stunt was she pulling? She was trying to prove a crime, because after all, they were saying it was a delusion, therefore they take my child. All my videos are being deleted. All my videos are being erased. I'm in hiding again. I am tired of living this way. I am officially back in hiding. I can't, this is just a temporary place I came to for a couple of nights while I regroup. And I have every intentions of leaving Texas forever. I will never, ever live in a state where cops can sexually harass women, where they can beat them up and caught on camera, and the hospital did nothing, and the doctors and the nurses, oh my goodness, but do nothing. I am so fed up today. I've never been this fed up. What I went through yesterday, I can't even still comprehend how that happened and how the police didn't run to see if there's any camera footage. But hey, after all, I am suing them. Well, it was for $20 million, if I may be so bold. And when I made it clear to the judge, I'm afraid I'll be dead over this lawsuit, and he gives me a dismissal without prejudice. Well, without prejudice? Oh, let me, Your Honor, make it clear. It is with prejudice. Because there's no reason, like a month or two before my jury trial, after I kept my case alive, pro se in federal court, suing basically Texas for all the corruption and all the bigwigs that have been getting away, including our Attorney General, including our DA getting away with covering up felonies. Yeah. No, it's not without prejudice. It's with prejudice, because there's no reason I didn't get a fair jury trial. Hey, but after all, in my CPS case, the juror was sleeping the whole time. This Asian pretty girl, young girl, the judge knew about it. Do you know that's grounds for a mistrial? But no. You ever heard of a juror, like, she was actually snoring and, I mean, in the best, as on the only day that I got to tell my story, where I was illegally set up for a crime and ended up losing my home over it, and then a year later they're like, oh, I'm sorry, you're not charged with a felony after all. Give me a break. With a woman with no criminal record, never been to jail. All of a sudden, I'm arrested in the courtroom, brought to tell the jurors that I am being charged for a felony that I never did. Are you serious? And then after I lose my case, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, already lost my home, already lost everything, all on a scam. And this happens a lot to people. I was just crazy enough to go on radio and expose the hell out of it. That's the only difference. Now, I allegedly have someone that's on their way to help me or sometime today. The sad story is I don't know if I can take anyone with me. I am at the point where I realize my life is truly in danger. After all, they're already trying to cover up the assault that happened to us 5 weeks ago, aggravated assault. They're already covering up the crime that happened to me at the public restaurant, that I did a live video showing the ice that the manager brought me, who clearly told Johnny and I that he was also hit by this man running out, and then changed the story to, oh, I had to dodge him and kind of bent down to miss him, to then, oh, we don't know who he was, he doesn't exist. Give me a break, there's cameras in this whole dang restaurant. Well, after the police came, now their story completely changes, and they have no record of a man as big as Arnold Schwarzenegger wearing some tight black top or something with this gorgeous bombshell blonde that looked, if I may be so bold, like a prostitute, but it looked to me like a setup, and I'm thrown against the wall, have serious injuries, end up in the hospital, and they see no proof of this man existing. Now, excuse me, how is there no proof of a man that just threw me violently across the wall? The waiter said word for word, oh my God, ma'am, are you okay? Now they say they can't find the waiter. I am fed up. I am not going to be bullied. I'm not going to be harassed, and I'm not going to be targeted anymore. And the sad part is, it's everywhere. In getting out of Texas, I get it. It's the first step. But this corruption will run further, deeper than running from Texas. Because let's remember how my daughter got taken. I reported a crime on Governor Rick Perry, who he appointed my stepdad to head of the medical board, and we had proof that my stepdad had been drugging me without my knowledge. Let's not mention that I came out positive for arsenic poisoning, mercury poisoning, and cadmium poisoning, and they say it's a delusion, and don't let me go to criminal court. And despite the psychiatric judge dismissed my charges, which is on Facebook, despite the CPS investigator, Deborah Mayo, dismissed my case, they managed to change the CPS worker who was originally Robin Hayward, who said they marched in the room, took her documents where she was giving my daughter back. Deborah Mayo went missing. We still can't find her. She never showed up for court despite subpoenaed. And now all of a sudden I've lost my daughter, then conveniently set up for a crime I didn't do. First time at 42 years old, ever been to jail during the trial. They dismiss it long gone after I can't appeal the case because you have 1 year to appeal it. Well, they took their time and, now it's too late to appeal it because you were on a house arrest for a year with a job at a really good modeling agency in Texas, one of the top. And all of a sudden I'm losing my job because, hey, I can't work at night because they call me at 6 o'clock all the time, confirming that I'm there and I have to confirm my voice. But then a year later, we're sorry. Okay, you didn't commit that felony. Now the witness, the alleged victim, comes forward, 7, 8 years later, tells the lawyer, my original lawyer on the case, 2 lawyers on the case, Lori Grabowski, tells her I want to do a sworn affidavit that Amy was set up. She didn't commit that crime. That wasn't my signature on the police report. And by God, Sergeant Cephas with Internal Affairs confirms it's true, says it was like 5 different police reports on the day that you were about to lose your daughter. The day before the deliberation, the day before the jurors decide my fate, I'm arrested and forced to tell them on the day of the verdict that I've come from jail and charged with a felony. Keep in mind, Amy Charron had never even been charged with a misdemeanor. You want to know how I lost my daughter? If that's not hardcore organized crime and corruption, I don't know what is. So then this lady, Rowena Freeman, who now goes by Rowena Youngflesh, tricks me into saying I'm going to do a sworn affidavit that I was the #1 witness that took you down and it was a setup. Tells Lori Grabowski, the lawyer, can I meet y'all? I'm dumb enough to let her come to my room, and she walks out on a scam. I'm desperate to get my daughter back with 2 mink coats that I inherited from my grandma that were very, very rare mink coats with her little autograph in them, if you know what I mean. She had her name in them, Gladys Charron. She gets away with stealing that and a 40-carat rare stone that my grandma hid in a line jacket to me, a jacket, hand-painted a line, because my grandma was like a lion because she was very strong and did everything to protect me. And she hid that stone, didn't tell anyone, and I found it. I didn't understand why she gave me the jacket, and then I understood it all because she told me there's something hidden that's going to have you well enough to get the best lawyer and get the heck out of Texas. Of course, she died and, was a #1 witness in my CPS case and testified to every pretty much thing that you heard, bizarre things I've told you. And all of a sudden she ends up with a mysterious death, and all the money she was leaving me mysteriously vanishes, and all the checking accounts wiped out, and all the CDs, oh my God. And then she's taped, she went on radio, she was taped saying they're doing to Amy what they did to me, implying she's being poisoned. My mother, who's not even in the will, who my grandma testified against, is visiting her twice with my daughter, who she got away with illegally taking with my stepdad, who was what? Appointed by Rick Perry, our once most popular governor. Are you getting the corruption around this? All of a sudden, there's no investigation, even though my mom is in my grandma's condo, and again, not on the will, and I'm in the will, and I can't get in the condo, and all of a sudden, all her jewelry's missing. The $78,000 organ that I had the receipt and proof of that it's in my will is allegedly given away to Red Cross or Salvation Army, and that's the story my mother gives. All her valuables, 90% are missing, and she just claims we gave it all away, or some crazy story. And she didn't get investigated for nothing. She got away with illegally taking my daughter. My poor dad being terribly, violently mugged when he was trying to go after her for some stuff that he suspected. And he just happens to get mugged violently when he only had $3 on him, according to witnesses. They stuck a pole through his brain, and now he can't be a witness because he has severe brain damage. I was only 15 years old. Let me remind you, this is when my mother hooked up with a prominent, wealthy doctor who later ends up head of the medical board appointed by Rick Perry, our once governor. Are you getting how bizarre my story is, or do I need to maybe turn it up? I don't think I can turn up the volume on this phone anymore, and I know I'm shouting because I'm real angry. I am caught up in some kind of bizarre good old boy system, and it doesn't matter if I'm dripping in blood, it doesn't matter if I've been violently sexually assaulted by a cop. The state covers it all up, and yeah, I have a big mouth, and that's why they're targeting me, and that's a fact. Now, I'll tell you what, I'm in big danger for this 33-page amendment I filed that I knew I shouldn't have filed till I was safe. But I will put that amendment, I will put that amended complaint, Rule 59, I believe is what it was. I will put my motion public. Because God forbid if anything happens to me, y'all need to see exactly what I filed in the serious allegations I made on the state of Texas and the police department and Child Protective Services. And then you wonder why I keep getting stalked and followed and harassed. It's so bad that they zoomed in on my lock and have the ability to open the lock to where I live. And I can't get the police here. You want to talk about danger? Imagine living in a world where people can have cameras on you and put it all over Google and YouTube, your information, and steal information off your private messengers and your YouTubes that they're blocked from, and have them in minutes public on Google and YouTube. Major cyber stalking, major hacking, major crimes being committed, my address is being put public. And you're wondering why I'm in danger and why I get robbed all the time and why people like Rowena can walk out of a room with all my belongings and claim she has immunity and can't be busted as CPS #1 witness. Why Wilbur Witt Jr. thinks he can steal over $250,000 of everything to my name. Pretty much him and only Rowena. Okay, people that robbed me blind. Rowena, a girl named Michelle, and Andrew. Wilbur Witt Jr., who goes by the Butcher, and a guy years ago by the name of Wilbur, oh God, 2 Wilburs, if you can believe that, or Wills, whatever. Anyway, I can't even think of his last name right now. I'm too upset. Is it? Oh God, sorry. Anyway, police reports made on all these people, and they all don't exist. And every one of these people, they deliberately pretty much took advantage of me, knowing I was in a vulnerable state. Said it pretty much in my face. They refused to do lie detector tests. They've insisted that the police can't touch them. It's pretty creepy. Now Internal Affairs says, oh yeah, we see proof of fraud, but narc on these cops, and we'll see what we can do to get your daughter back. And I do it, and it endangered my life, and they blew my cover. They put me in major news, whoever did, when my agreement with Internal Affairs was don't put my name public, and the DA's office, and the Attorney General's office. Whoever is big in Texas pretty much knew about this case and knew my fears. And if anything, they deliberately put me in harm's way because they wanted to shut me up so I couldn't sue them and prove that my daughter was taken illegally and that they retaliated against me for not giving up and exposing their dirty secrets in this huge scandal that truly is connected to even Rick Perry. Now, if you saw the video of Rick Perry and I'm on stage with him, he was scared I had a briefcase with me and I was going to pull it out on stage because, yeah, I'm that gutsy. Oh, my dear, no. I'm going to do right. I know your daughter was illegally, I'm about to lose my house, sir. No, smell for the cameras. They take our pictures. He gets reelected and blew me off. And you want to talk about corruption? I'll tell you what, when I know I'm safe, I'll blow your mind on what they said about Rick Perry and I under oath. And Governor Rick Perry did nothing about the tech. And if you don't believe I know him, just go on my Facebook. There's pictures going back to, I believe I'm 21 years old in that picture. And then you see me again, a lot older. Obviously, I knew him. I knew him because my rich little stepdaddy, who had an affair with my mother, and my poor dad died over God knows what. Maybe a setup, maybe not. We'll never know. But isn't it funny how they're the ones with my daughter and living the life, and I went homeless. I've gone starving over all this because what became a fight for justice became a fight for survival. And many of us, countless of us, are living this reality. I'm sure I'm going to regret doing this video. I'm sure I'm going to be yelled at by someone for doing it because everybody's telling me they're afraid for my life. But I'd rather die telling the truth than be a coward and be a no one that sat back and did nothing. All right, bye.
I'm going to expose a little bit of myself to you guys. I normally don't do these live feeds, and I try to make a production, but I'm going to go ahead and do this right now because I just went and got some more cigarettes and was thinking, and I would like to explain to some of you why I think the way I do. I've been going through a little bit of trauma this week, and I want you to notice, first of all, I want you to notice that in spite of me going through the so-called trauma, the production of articles and information never ceased, okay? It never ceased. That's because I have a policy in my company, the butcher shop. This is the business we've chosen, okay? We stay on top of the front page because we produce. But I have a granddaughter. You know the little girl, the little girl that you see at the end of each videos, you know, get that phone out of my face, that is my granddaughter, Carrie. And Carrie's nickname is the Puck. She named herself after an apple mouse. Carrie has reactive attachment disorder. Okay, and what that is, when Brother Theo, by the way, our newest member of our group, is a psychologist, and he went to Utah with me last year to help her get out of a jam she was in. And what reactive attachment disorder is a child who has gone through something within the first 2 years of life where they have basically, they don't attach to human beings, okay? They don't attach to human beings. When people hear the word schizophrenia, they think, oh my God, schizophrenia, oh my God. Charles Whitman on the tower, isn't it? No. Most schizophrenics sit in some hospital somewhere when they're in the hospital and they roll their shit into little balls. They really don't hurt anyone. When you hear the word RAD, reactive attachment disorder, it makes the normal person say, well, you can work with that. Okay, well, yesterday there was a news story, okay, and it came in, this little 10-year-old girl on the news story was going into court in handcuffs being certified as an adult. She had been in foster care, and she was in a daycare center because her mother was working, foster mother was working, and they left her off there, and the daycare thought, well, it'd be nice if, you know, the little girl holds the baby. So they gave her a 6-month-old baby to hold, and it slipped out of her hands, and it bumped its head on the floor, and it started crying. Well, that's where you get the reactive attachment disorder. The baby was in the way, and so the little girl just stomped his brains out. That's my granddaughter. That's my granddaughter. She, on 2 occasions, has tried to burn this house down because she didn't get a sandwich or she didn't get a Diet Dr. Pepper. She's a type 1 diabetic, and that compounds it, okay? And this was done to her before she was 2 years old, before we had her. We took her away from the family, got her into safety. That is the reason that I'm so intense on Amy. I look at little Markel, and I look at my granddaughter, and anything that can be done to keep Markel from having to go through what my granddaughter has gone through is needed. That's necessary. Amy is a monster. She is a monster. She destroys people, and she would have destroyed that little girl if she had been given a chance. That is why what Jolie did today was beautiful. Was beautiful. I was waiting to catch her slack, catch her back, and never had to. Everything Amy said when her panic video at Kmart or wherever she was at was a complete bundle of lies. She waves a paper, and it's hard to get a screenshot of it, but it didn't look like the blanks were filled in. I mean, not to me. You guys probably have better software than I got on this iPhone. You can look at it, but I was a realtor, and I didn't see anything filled in. Her producer was with her. Her camera crew was with her. Her this, her that, yada, 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 yada. I have filmed shows for the History Channel. That ain't no lie. On Shockwave, we had film of an actual terrorist action on a road where a guy blew up a van, and we made $25,000 for one segment of Shockwave. I have seen, they call them the Inchon trucks, roll up, and we set up everything at the house in Berry Creek, it looked like California, and we filmed a segment of Shockwaves. What Amy had today was a total lie. And she said, I had all my papers in order, I was doing this, I was doing that. And no, you didn't. Because if you had, that man would have been out there dressing your lying ass down. Now, I'm going to make this short. I don't want to, bore everybody like Amy does. But that little puck is the reason that I'm intense on this like I am when I get on it. Because I think about Markel, and I think about my granddaughter last Wednesday. I lost a whole day. Today, I didn't know it was Saturday. I thought it was Friday. Because I normally publish every day, and Wednesday was a blank day. I mean, I remember it. I didn't go psychotic. I did a lot of work, you saw the stuff. But I didn't publish an actual article because I was too busy working with events in Salt Lake City. Things were going crazy. I had to get involved in everything. I didn't, because my 11-year-old granddaughter was caught trying to sell herself in the park in Brigham City. Well. The Butcher News Service is on the air. Today in downtown Houston, Amy and Johnny partake of going downtown, and they were going to film a homeless shelter. And they promised a news crew, filming crew, they were going to go down there and rattle the cages of the homeless shelter for bad things were being done to the poor homeless and everything. And they got down there, and they were wrong about just about everything. They walked in there and they tried to film and got themselves ejected because the homeless people are not, you don't want to go in there and, be photographed when you like that and everything. And I'm suppose when Amy comes up tonight with her little take on this, she's going to say that the Black Lives Matter and the Black Panthers are probably part of the Texas good old boy system. But they were right about one thing. There was a film crew down there. And got some photographs. And these photographs cleared up a lot of questions that we were having about certain things. Like she claimed that Robert Beatty photoshopped her picture when she's sitting in that library. Unfortunately, we got a photograph and everything, and it's right here. And as you can see, that clears up a little question of Amy's weight there real quick. Okay, but there's something else I want you to notice. We got another photograph here. Just take a look at this right quick. Look at the gentleman on the right. There you go. And if you'll notice, now we have the question solved of why Johnny White doesn't like to do films or Facebook or anything like that, because basically he's fat ass too. Yeah, and so that's what's going on. At any rate, got some good photographs, got her location, I didn't put it on this video because I don't know what the legalities are. I don't know who they stole the van from, so I wasn't going to photograph the license plate or anything like that, but we did see the license plate, and I'm going to put that over to Brother Theo and find out who owns it if I can. It was the usual Amy scam. She was going to go down there and get among the homeless and everything. And you remember now, as of last night, she had $1. She had $1. So she's probably going to drop by for a shot of wine or something somewhere. I do understand that she did run by a liquor store, but I know that since she doesn't drink and she doesn't use drugs, and she is 135 pounds, that she was at that liquor store to pass out $5 bills to the homeless people that were begging for change. I'm sure that happened there too. That's all I got for today. I'm not going to be boring to you or anything. I'm going to let my granddaughter sign off.
Get your phone out of my face!
Amy. When will you learn? You didn't mention my name on your next to the last video, and I was nice to you. And then again, here you come, mentioning my name, accusing me of crimes, all these wonderful things that you just love to do. So here we are again. You know what that is, right? It's whack-a-mole. I'm not going to make this an incredibly long video because I don't like incredibly long videos where people ramble like they're insane, you know, like 45-minute videos where they're in basically a storage shed where they're hiding out because the police just did a health and welfare check on the parents and the little girl because someone is running around Harris County acting like a nut, showing bruises. And by the way, that yellow in the middle of those bruises means those are old bruises. That's where you and Johnny got into a fight, and everybody knows it. Ranting and raving about, and you know, saying that a doctor told you that he could do anything he wanted. The judge had given him permission. Now, Amy, listen. That means that you are committed. When you admit freely of your own free will that a doctor told you that your will was not your own anymore, it had been consigned to him, that means you have been judged as a danger to society and yourself. That's coming out of your own mouth. Now, the other thing is, it is statistically impossible for every cop in Harris County, every judge, and every district attorney and assistant district attorney to be crooked and after you. Statistically speaking, if this many people were after you, you would be dead or incarcerated or in ash. Okay? It's as simple as that. And as far as your boyfriend, bodyguard, or anything, you are openly admitting that he has mental problems, and you're saying it's because he had to protect you. Okay? And you're saying there's security cameras when you were assaulted in that restaurant a few days back. Somehow the evil district attorney got a hold of it and erased it. People are posing as cops who are coming to see you and destroying your valuable evidence. Destroying your valuable... And what do? Do you drag a footlocker of valuable evidence around with you? I mean, is that what you do? Just watch my movie with Delusional or whatever it's called. Demented, I don't know. You know that thing... Excuse me. And by the way, I want to clear something else up on this little short rant. Many videos ago, you accused me of, quote unquote, stealing your websites, movies, and everything. I didn't steal it. I purchased it from Ramona Mayon because you wouldn't pay her. I purchased it. I looked at it, and I told her deactivate that crap. Nobody needs to watch that. Okay? So yeah, I did that. Totally legal. I own the copyright. WeirdWorks owns the Jackie, the girl that is hiding, or I sexually assaulted, or what? Jackie owns your shit, Amy. She's 1/3 of WeirdWorks. Lance Angelo's the other third. I'm a third. Jackie owns 1/3 of your ass. Okay? Period. She owns the pictures of your little girl. Okay? Boy, I bet that hurts like hell, don't it? But anyway, this 45-minute rambling rant, which is all it is only proving your mental state. That's all it's proving. Nobody's taking your cases. Nobody's going to jail. You got to find somebody like Johnny. You can find somebody to put up with you. Okay? But again, whack-a-mole time. Whack-a-mole. All right? Every time you mention my name, I'm going to dissect that last video. And Robert, this journalist has made his life harassing me, and the police said, that looks like harassment. And in the very next breath, you say all the cops are crooked and they're not listening to you. All right. No. Robert is a journalist. I am a journalist. You keep feeding me information when you mention my name. Every single time you mention my name, whack-a-mole.
Get your phone phone out of my face.
This is going to be a short one, actually, or maybe not a short one, maybe a long one. I just finished talking to Brother Theo, and he reminded me of something he's checked on with Amy and everything. There is a small portion of the whistleblower law that she's not aware of. Is when you file a false report, which we've already checked, and her reports are false. It actually becomes a felony, and the feds then turn on the whistleblower, and they blow their whistle just a little bit. So, as far as I'm informed now, Amy is under investigation for her whistleblowing activity, if it does indeed exist, because they didn't move on it. That means it was false, and therefore that is the end of that. Okay, so we can pass this video over to her. And oh, by the way, and about Johnny, her latest little deal. He went to the police and he made a report. I'm sure he did and all that. Like I said before, you've got to remember that a misdemeanor charge from another state frequently won't show up. These things won't happen. So that's how he slipped by. I know for a fact. My own son has been under misdemeanor charges, interstate and all that. Been in car wrecks and not been arrested. Nothing went through the police scanner or anything like that. So that's not unusual. But you got to ask, why is this man living with this woman? But look, right back to the whistleblowing thing. Apparently her charges were unfounded. You can't just file a whistleblowing case and then turn around and it turns out to be a lie or something she made up. They don't just say, well, okay, well, this is unfounded, like a CPS case. No, it's no. There are definite jail deals, and we intend to probably pursue that and see if we can find out that she's truly a whistleblower, and she really tried to file something, and were the charges unfounded, and then we'll proceed from there. And as far as Amy's concerned, hey, Amy, I'm a whistle, so blow me.
Get your phone out of my face.
Well, good morning. It's Black Friday, and I hope every one of you had a fantastic Thanksgiving. I did. I had a more or less traditional Texas Thanksgiving. As you know, the family's up in Utah. They did all the turkeys and dressings and all that. I had brisket and sausage, jalapenos, and potato salad and beer. But yesterday, I intended to take yesterday off, but I didn't. I got an idea, and usually when an idea hits me, I'll start out that I'm going to make a little, short note or maybe a comment somewhere, and I don't have time enough to make it short, so it usually runs about 1,000 words. But that having been said, when I go to those things and everything, I get on a subject and it seems to evolve. Now, what evolved yesterday is Brother Theo and I have been developing a thing called a populist philosophy, where we're trying to bring conservatives and liberals together in a common cause. But I also study religion and history, Greek, Roman, Greco, all that kind of stuff. And I have been studying the Flavians, the family of Titus Flavius Caesar, people like that. And I also study the New Testament, and I got deep into that. And I'm going to put a link to the article up here so you can read it. Actually, there's two articles. I'm going to put the link to both articles because today I not only did an article touched on that, I began to tie in what we're really going at, which is the clash of two civilizations is what we're going into now. And then I touched on a racist tone. Now, this is something I do quite well, and nobody else does it. Nobody will touch it. We have all become so politically correct that we're afraid of even certain words. Now, I don't say ugly words, but I didn't shy away from saying the word white. You see, we had the advent of the N-word some time ago. Now we're getting the advent of the W word, where we're not even allowed to say it. Well, I said it. And I put it very clearly in the article the way I believe, and I had a little humor in there to try to get people to understand. And I'm going to continue on this vein in between political articles. I'm not going to back away from the political content, because the political content, the religious content, the social content all tie together to make what's really going on in our world. And if you've got to understand one if you're going to understand the other. It's as simple as that. You simply can't tie your worldview up in a knot to where nothing gets in. And you must be able to say things as they clearly are. So anyway, I want to invite you to read the 2 articles that I'm placed up here, and then I want to converse with you guys later, perhaps, and everything. Y'all be cool.
Get your phone out of my face.
Okay. I wanted to come on today and talk to just you guys about what we're discussing on this group. And the reason that I'm doing this on a YouTube link are manyfold. The reasons that I'm doing it are manyfold. Number one, I have full control of the production and the editing, which if I should get a phone call or something, it won't stop the video. I can simply resume after the phone call is done with no real break, and I won't have to be asking who's up or anything like that. I want to address the situation with Amy. I read today the comments that were making of the events that occurred during her last stay with her last host. Now, I did not see the video. Everybody kept alluding to a video, but looking at the comments, I could very quickly pick up on that maybe some of the blanks have been filled in, maybe some of the things that happened have been filled in, but I myself, from personal experience, can fill in even more blanks for you. But first off, before I embark on this endeavor, I would like to say my respect for Robert and my respect for what he does. He is a journalist like I am, and I am, in some small way, a journalist. But my scope of operation involves what I call doubling down, and I've learned that this is one of Amy's techniques. Is she will come on strong with a series of lies or half-truths or just babble, and you naturally jump on it, and you get in there and you start swinging. You very quickly run out of substance because there is no substance. And that combined with maybe a little bit of fear, even though you know it's all poppycock and you know that it's all nonsense, it's kind of walking through a minefield where you know where all the landmines are, but should you make a misstep, you're afraid something may happen that will jeopardize your enjoyment of life. If nothing else, a tremendous amount of harassment from the people who have been seduced by her never-ending story. Okay, I understand this. Also, she will sidestep, go on to another victim, host, boyfriend, bodyguard, whatever, and she quickly will just turn you off because she knows she can't win. So therefore, she'll go another direction. Okay, that is the reason that this group needs to sustain. That is the reason that we need to double down on this and keep her in the light. Keep her in the limelight. I don't understand. I can put the pieces together that apparently her and her associate dominated this old lady's home, car, food, whatever. And then when they had completely sucked all the blood they could out, apparently, I guess, family members intervened, and they intervened in a very quick fashion, which is what family needs to do, and helped free the old lady from the specter that was living with her. Okay. This is what happened at my house. I've said time and time again. Amy has raised several outright lies, and I placed on this site, I have placed actual photographs of the fire that occurred in my house. They really did. I never said that the house burned completely down. Now, there is a reason that the first fire that occurred here was not a part of the fire department record. From what I understand, they must deploy hoses before they actually will write a report. If they show up and said fire has already been subdued, then there's no reason for the fire department action, therefore there is no report. In the first fire, that is exactly what happened. My granddaughter put cold water in the catfish grease. It blew up. It primarily blew up the kitchen, which is right over here, okay? And it burned the cabinets up, the hardwood cabinets. It melted the microwave off the wall. It even destroyed the stovetop, where the microwave dripped and fell on the stovetop. When I came in and tried to stop the fire, the blast pushed me back up against the wall, and I sat down and was blinking when a sergeant who lives next door came over, had a fire extinguisher, and he extinguished the fire with a fire extinguisher. Not before the smoke and heat completely devastated the entire house. The entire house had to be completely repainted, work on the air conditioning ducts for the stink and the smell. It killed all the flies in the house. We found dead flies in the back bedroom, everything, okay? The suitcases referred to as thousands of dollars and everything were under the kitchen table right over here. And as I said, the microwave melted off the wall, and unfortunately, Amy's suitcases melted too. The miracle is we were in the middle of this thing and nobody got hurt. That I can't explain. Somebody said, we have Indian friends, we're members of an Indian tribe up in Washington State, and they gave us a something called a hamani that hangs outside. And this man told us, if you always have the hamani there facing the rising sun, then the spirit of the great spirit will come, and I guess it did, because nobody got their eyebrows singed. Well, I got my eyebrows singed. I really did. At any rate, her stuff, and I'm just going to go through a little history here, was taken to another location. They came up here in a U-Haul trailer, which kind of surprised me. But when she had to go back for this very famous case where she ended up putting a police officer in prison all by herself, she actually didn't do that. That was an ongoing case. This man apparently has stepped out of line several times with other people, and he may have stepped out of line on Amy, okay? Anyway, he did get reprimanded, lose his job and all this kind of stuff. But she had to suddenly jump up and run back to Houston. Now, several things come up that contradict what she's saying. Very famous case, okay. She told, when she put the stuff in my other house, or our other house, I don't own it. She says it was originally $200,000, $250,000. Now I think she's got it up to half a billion dollars worth of valuable items. Well, she's got control of $500 million in antiques, famous paintings, silver, gold, jewels, all this. But I had to give Steve $40 and put him on a bus to get her back to Houston. Now that's a fact. That is a fact, okay? Then she says she had to clean up my house. Well, I'm a bachelor. I live in a party. It wasn't a homeless shelter. And old Sonny, my friend that died, old Sonny died. This house was not in disrepair when she got here, period. Sonny was a homosexual. I am not a homosexual. But if you know a good homosexual who's 70 years old, they always go around and dust and clean. And in fact, Sonny was the one that rebuilt or redid the cabinets after the fire. He also was a carpenter, okay? She did not come in and, quote, unquote, pull this house together. That is a lie, okay? She might have done laundry, but that was probably the laundry from her 2 suitcases of clothes that she brought over here. My laundry is very simple when I'm alone. I change clothes each day. The dirty clothes I throw in the washer. At the end of 5 or 6 days, I look and I got them down to like 1 suit of clothes. It's time to push the wash button. That's usually Saturday or Sunday. Then Monday, I began the whole cycle again. I am not out of control. That is a lie. This is Amy's method of operation. She is perpetually homeless. Quote unquote, we've moved 4 times in the last 40 days, blah, 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 blah. Okay? Do the math. Just do the math. It's right there in your face. Do it. Okay? The things that she says border on fanciful stories to outright lies. Okay. The Houston Police Department is not, quote unquote, after her. She has demonstrated on many occasions that she is an unreliable witness. Okay. In fact, her witness is probably not beneficial in court. She is a formal mental patient, which if a good defense to anything she says is simply getting her to recite how many mental hospitals she's been in. And we know, Brother Theo and I know how many she's been in because he knows the people at the Austin State Hospital. This is not speculation. These are people we really know. The other fact is, many cases she's won and how powerful she is and very famous, much more famous than me or Robert, okay? But she still doesn't have her kid. Again, do the math. Do the math. She still doesn't have her kid, okay? My grandchildren were never hidden. They were never hidden. And as a matter of fact, I'll tell you why. I can tell you exactly why they were never hidden. At one point, we were winding up all these cases that were coming down from the CPS. An investigator came to see us, a highly placed individual with the Child Protective Services, whom I cannot reveal his name because I have an agreement with him. He wanted to locate them. I made a FaceTime call. He said, "Hi, buddies," and he closed the case. But I told him, it's really odd that nobody had told you this because he was new on the department being assigned. They get a check from CPS, the result of a lawsuit. That is a paper check that goes to precisely where they're at. Now, how hidden are they? When there was communication between the Austin CPS and the Texas CPS concerning these children, and communication with me at this very house right here, openly, with FaceTime calls, and all this, how are they hidden? How are they hidden? They are hidden from sociopaths like Amy. That's who they're hidden from. They are protected from people like that. I might say that her daughter Markel is subsequently hidden. Okay? We're reasonably sure where Markel is. Did we dig into it? Was it a very important thing that we had to get in there and find out what is? No. Because she deserves her privacy. If she is disturbed at this point, as you know, my granddaughter has a reactive attachment disorder. Markel is a prime candidate for RAD. We won't do anything that's going to enhance this and give the McDonald's any problem whatsoever. We're not going to dig into that. Now, with Amy, she's not going to stop until she is incarcerated or she's placed in a mental hospital indefinitely, involuntarily. She is not going to stop. Her actions have deprived people of money, of material, of their sense of peace, all these things, okay? I am not Scary Wilbur. I forgot all about it. The reason she was angry with me is when she got to Houston for her very famous case, they called while I was working. And I just couldn't take the call, just like right now. I rigged up this very video so if a call comes in, I can continue what I'm doing and then take the call and go back. She got down there and got in the pickle in court. I don't know what the pickle was. I don't know. I said I thought it was about that police officer, but I'm beginning to think it was a DWI or a drug thing or something like that. I don't know. We haven't researched that. When you research Amy, you have to go under all of her aliases. Amy DeWeird, Amy Klein, Amy whatever. You know, there are many aliases. There are many rabbit trails you've got to go down, so it's hard. Her true age, her true weight, her true location, all of these things smack of a con artist who is basically homeless. Okay, so in conclusion, I want to say, while you might not see me chime in heavily every day, I'm always here and I'm always listening and I'm always watching. And you remember that landmine, that minefield I told you about? Okay, there are mines out there, but we're not going to set them off. Amy's going to set them off. They're out there. And I'm always waiting and I'm always watching And one day that foot's going to hit the wrong landmine, and that will be the end of Amy. Look. Hey, you love Papa. Come here. Come here. You love Papa. Mm-hmm. Is Papa a good guy?
Yes.
All right. Does Papa sneak you food? Bye. Here's that new baby. There's that new baby. Oh no. Hey! Come here, Frank. No. Come here. Let the girl come here. Come here. I want you to say hi, Crystal.
Hi, Crystal.
I'm going to Disneyland with you.
I want to go to Disneyland with you.
Okay.
Hi, my name's Nick.
This is Slick Nick the lawyer.
It's so funny.
This is that dang new baby. Bring that new baby in here. There's that new baby.
Now show the Nick missing the food.
Okay,
I got money.
This video has gone south. We're going to go ahead. Hey, baby.
I got money.
Hey, Crystal, she's going. Yeah.
See?
All right, he's got money. I'll see y'all in a little while.